The following program is intended for mature audiences.
A democratic republic of sports. The Sportsocracy with ESPN Asheville hosts Tank Spencer and Jeremy Greene.
Welcome into the Wicked Weed Studios, wickedweedbrewing.com. Drink different. I'm Jeremy Greene. This is Tommy Bradley and Brian Haynes, and this is the Washington football team's 2021 off-season review, brought to you by Wicked Weed Brewing, wickedweedbrewing.com. Drink different. Guys, I don't think there's a team in the NFL that we're as universally in agreement on as the Washington football team.
Yeah, I think we all across the board had them winning 11 or more games. I actually have them as the NFC champions this year, which I know is a drastic call. I just believe in this team, and I think this is going to be one of the best defenses we've seen in over 20 years.
Little crazy, but
yeah,
I'm not far off of you. I'm in the NFC Championship game.
I think there's a few fans out there that may be suffering from DFS.
Yeah.
And we do have help for you on our channel if you are. But there's a lot of NFC East fans been chirping us about our Washington football team take. We all have them, I think, at minimum 12 wins. Is that right?
I think 11 was the
11 was the lowest. I just think they got better, and they were already on the way.
Caleb had them the best at 14-3. The rest of us all had them at 11-6 or 12-5.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just look at this team adding Curtis Samuel in the offseason. I think that gives them the move wide receiver that they've needed. Obviously, adding Ryan Fitzpatrick, that's a step up from Alex Smith.
Yeah.
By hook or by crook, that's an improvement from Alex Smith. Add De'Ami Brown, that's to me, that's their rookie contributor going into this season. And I just look at everything Washington did, and I don't see how this team's not markedly better.
100%. I mean, we already knew the defense was great. You know, what they lost with Ronald Darby, they got William Jackson III, which I think is, you know, an upgrade. Where are you going to hurt them at defensively? I mean, their line is insane. Montez Sweat, Chase Young, Jonathan Allen, Daron Payne. And then you've got corners in Kendall Fuller, William Jackson. Anything that you want to do over the middle, Landon Collins is going to be smacking people with John Bostic. And, you know, they're going to have the rookie Jamin Davis in there. So everything, pretty much their season's going to rely on how well their offense works. And they've got pieces.
They certainly have pieces. I'm not as sold on the linebacker core. I mean, Brian has basically said this is going to be the 2000 Bears, or 2000 Ravens, 85 Bears. The 2000 Bears, I don't think that team was particularly good. I don't see that. I think they're going to be able to get after the quarterback. I think they still need a free safety, in my opinion. I don't think you can go into this season with Cameron Curl. Everything I've heard is that Landon Collins is going to be playing more of a hybrid linebacker role. So I am a little curious of what you're going to do at safety. But then I look at the additions on the line, adding Charles Leno from the Bears. I think that's I mean, he's not as great as he was written out to be, but he's a solid left tackle in the NFL. Young guy in Sam Cosmi. I think this team's going to be really good.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I just like the pieces that they have. I mean, I know that Ryan Fitzpatrick can be a kind of gunslinger quarterback. I just don't think he's had the opportunity to be on a team like this where he's not asked to do everything. A lot of the teams he's been the quarterback of have been really bad, and he's had to basically try his hardest to win, so you would get 4 or 5 interceptions sometimes. I don't believe he has to do that. I like the wide receiving core. Adding Curtis Samuel, they even added Adam Humphries, which I know is a small little thing.
Overrated. And
Antonio Gandy-Golden, is he still a thing? Because
I think he's still a very talented player. He's just young.
And then, you know,
Steven Sims is...
And I do.
I like him.
God, and even a late draft pick, the Dax Milne, you had said some good things about him. And
I'm a big fan of Dax Milne.
Yeah, and so I just look at these things. Antonio Gibson, I really like out of the backfield. J.D. McKissick can give you the passing down. He's always been pretty well at that. I guess it just really depends on what you can do with Ryan Fitzpatrick. Can you get him to kind of just do what he needs to do and not go crazy? And I think this team's going to be really, really set to make a long playoff run.
Well, we know, you know, they've got the pieces everywhere. We know a lot's going to be reliant on the quarterback play, on what Fitzpatrick does, because he's got receivers, he's got a nice line. My thing that really is going to separate a lot of these teams that we have projected, you know, with a lot of wins is depth. And if you look at the football team, that's one thing they haven't always had, and they've got this year. I mean, just if they suffer an injury on the line, say a D tackle, you know who their backup D tackles are? Matt Ioannidis and Tim Settle. They drafted Shaka Toney, William Bradley King, stuff, Casey Tooham, James Smith-Williams. They've got a nice rotation, so they're not going to get tired. If there's injuries, they've got guys that can step up. The one thing that, Jeremy was saying he's not as sure about is the linebacking core. I don't think they have to do as much. And, I mean, the safeties is a question mark. But they've got 3 corners you can put out there in Benjamin St-Juste, William Jackson, Kendall Fuller. They still got Bobby McCain and Greg Stroman. Like, there's some guys
Bobby
that can
McCain's
play.
going to be one of the safeties. My question is what they're going to do at the other side.
Yeah.
Also, the next person that tells me how great Bobby McCain is, I'm going to throw some knowledge bombs at you.
No.
Because, I mean, he's fine. He's a starter in the NFL. But it's not like you brought in Earl Thomas in his prime. So, calm down on that shit. My stance on Washington is I think we're being a little too effusive with Ryan Fitzpatrick. And we're looking at all the good and how good of a quarterback he can be, and we're not taking into account the gunslinger. What you said to this, he's never had a set of weapons like this. Yeah, that's actually what scares me, is that I'm afraid with a set of weapons like this, you're going to see more of the bad Ryan Fitzpatrick than people think.
Hey, y'all, watch this.
Even with that, I look at this team and I still have them at 11-6.
Yeah.
The one thing I will say is going into fantasy football season, the preliminary ADPs are out from fantasyfootballcalculator.com. You're not going to get a value on any Washington football team player. Antonio Gibson's going in the 2nd round, that's too rich for my blood for a guy that had 200-yard games last year. Terry McLaurin's going in the 4th round. Logan Thomas was the closest I came to a value, and even he's going in the 8th. And there are other tight ends that I just like. And yes, before anybody says it in the comments, there are fantasy football leagues that are drafting right now. We'll have plenty more here live from the Wicked Weed Studios as we get closer to the kickoff of the 2021 NFL season. But for Tommy Bradley and Brian Haynes, I'm Jeremy Greene. This has been the Washington Football Team 2021 off-season review from the Sportsocracy, brought to you as always by Wicked Wheat Brewing. WickedWheatBrewing.com. Drink different.